Okay, so we've got our first real guest in the studio. We've got Sheyi from Clap&Thunder, which is a band that you two guys are doing together. And we've also got Johnny, aka DreamShore, in Miami on Skype over here.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Cool. Very good.
Good, man.
So, yeah, it's Clap&Thunder. Sheyi's my band partner.
Bandmate.
Band partner.
Any words work?
Yeah. Sheyi's my partner in crime in the band Clap&Thunder, and that's actually the studio we generally make our music in.
Yeah.
And so it's quite interesting because we've got Johnny here today as well, who we've got a bit of a collaboration going on with, which is cool. And recently he sent the track over to us, and Sheyi put some vocals on it. Sheyi.
Yes, and I haven't actually heard what Johnny thinks about those vocals,
No.
except through Matt, but I'm assuming it's all right.
What do you think, Johnny?
Well, after taking the time to have a good listen of it, I have to say, I mean, out of all the vocalists that I've collaborated with, I would say by far Sheyi's the most outstanding vocalist out of every other collaboration that I've done currently, and I'm really looking forward to the finalization of this track.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Actually, that makes me think of something, because I know that you guys have been working together for a long time, but I don't actually know the story of how you guys started, how you met, how you started collaborating.
A while ago.
It's a good question. I think it's through Natty, actually, through Matt's wife.
Okay.
Because I went to university with Natty.
Ah, all right.
And I think I was doing a gig in Piccadilly Circus, and
Was
Natty
it Metro
said,
Bar or something? Was it? Or it was?
I can't remember the name of it.
Central, wasn't it?
It was very central. And Natty invited Matt along, and at that time, Matt was in a band with his brother Darren.
Yeah.
And so I think I originally came over just to put some vocals on your tracks.
That's right. Yeah, I was writing some tracks, and I was really impressed when I went to see the gig. I was like, "Wow, Sheyi's really got an amazing voice. It'd be great to get her singing on some of my tracks." And and then it started off singing on some of my tracks, and over time, we just started writing tracks together, and we thought, "Well, this is something we want to go, do more of." That's basically what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I saw you guys. Was it last summer? And I think that's the first time.
Probably.
Well, the first time that we met. And
Live?
Yeah. And of course, I've heard the tracks before, but again, everyone's celebrating your voice here. But yeah, it sounded awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. I'll come again. This is what it's like.
I've got to make a mention here. Johnny's voice is very nice too. Really, very, very nice voice.
It's all right.
So you guys have been sending each other music, and you've done some remixes of each other's tracks, right?
Yeah. We're working on a Clap&Thunder remix of Johnny's single, so we're working on that. Johnny's also doing a remix of our tune, Spit, which we're going to put out at a similar time. We haven't got a finalised date for that yet, but because we're both doing remixes of each other's tunes, we're thinking that it's going to be quite good to both promote each other and also put stuff out on Neon Above, which is another collaboration we're doing with Johnny. It's all taking form quite nicely.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm looking. Are we going to hear those on here? Are you going to put?
We could play some little excerpts, couldn't we, Johnny? We could play a few small parts, just little teasers.
The single, or
yeah.
Big shot living on a dream.
basically, so you got the track Spit coming out, and you have Runaway, Johnny, right?
That's right.
So what can you tell us about that track? Like, what was the inspiration behind that one?
Well, I've actually had that song for a couple of years now, and the main point of the song was really about just. It's sort of it was a situation where people go through problems in their past, and this was just a way of saying a message, just saying to move forward, run away from negativity, and push on forward. I mean, there's multiple stories behind it, but really the main one was just giving people the motivation to go forth and do the best you can be to do whatever you want.
What about Spit?
Can you face me? 'Cause I'm playing with your shadow in the dark. Is it tasty when you spit out that you left me from the start? If you want it, come and get it, but don't take me away. Nowhere's in crazy city spaces from a nasty display. Can you face me? 'Cause I'm playing with your shadow in the dark. Why don't you spit a little more before you dribble and go through your shadow line? Why don't you spit a little more before you dribble and go through your shadow and go through? Why don't you?
I think Sheyi Sheyi was the lyricist on that tune.
Yeah, I was, wasn't I? To be honest, I wrote it. I wrote the lyrics so long ago. I'm trying to remember what I wrote them about. But because it's quite an up-tempo number, I think it's mainly about talking to someone a little bit when you're in a club. And I think the image that we kind of had was of those guys in clubs, who stand around the edges and don't want to participate.
Oh yeah, it's all coming
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a conversation with them as to just kind of get over yourself and join in, essentially, because that's what you should be
doing.
Spit
as in say something.
Say something, do something,
do something, yeah.
All right, cool. Haven't you guys like the tracks that you've done? You've been releasing 2 different versions, like a day and a night version as well, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I think that came about because we kind of had, probably about a year and a bit ago, we had a sort of meeting as to like what is the actual direction that we want to go in, what's going to be our USP, or the thing that's different about us in order to kind of go forward.
Yeah.
And we had one of my friends, Loretta, who's actually a manager, come in, and she kind of like listened to all of the tracks, and she was like, well, some of the tracks you've got are like quite dancey and like up tempo, and then some of your other tracks are quite acousticy, maybe like soul vibe. So why don't you try and like actually go for both markets? And that was when we kind of then took that idea and went, well, that's quite good. We could actually just do a day and a night version of each song. We could do like one that's for the club, and then one that's for kind of like easy listening-y type things. So that's where
daytime music, it's kind of stuff you'd listen in the day. But
that's a really good idea.
But also, I think like Shay's vocal is so good. You want to slow down track sometime. You want to be able to hear her voice properly. And in the daytime tracks, often is the case. And my production, especially in the past, come from more dance music. So I wanted to incorporate that as well. But by doing that, we kind of get the best of both worlds. And to be honest, sometimes we get a track and it's bang in the middle of those styles anyway. So
it can be. Yeah, definitely.
That's such a really good idea. No one's doing that, right? I haven't heard of
anyone. Not that we know of.
No.
Not that we know of.
I've never seen that before. No.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I mean, but let me ask you guys, Sherry, why Spit? Why the name Spit?
Spit. Because it was catchy.
Yeah.
It was catchy and it was a bit different. I think that's why. So it just worked. And it was also, I remember when I first got the loop for that song, it was actually, sometimes when I'm writing stuff, it comes really, really quickly. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but that one actually came very, very fast.
Yeah,
the loop
quite
is in
instant.
the line, it was like instant. And spit is an easy thing to sing with force. It's got the right kind of consonants in it.
It's quite
that
aggressive,
kind of,
isn't
like,
it? It's quite an aggressive track. So.
Right amount of aggression, as it were. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it
that's why
sticks.
works.
It sticks. That word is kind of it's
Spit does stick.
Yeah, yeah.
Spit sticks.
It should be called Spit Sticks, maybe. That's kind of what. Yeah.
Your single's coming out. Are you doing any? Are you doing any live gigs for it, or are you doing any promo? Or did you tell me the other day you were going to do acoustic version or something? Is that?
Yeah, actually, I've been doing a lot of thinking about the direction I want to go with after it's released. I've been contacting people left and right. Possibly labels that would have the interest of having it under their platforms, or perhaps signing onto a label. I was thinking about New Retrowave. And as far as shows are concerned, I'm possibly going to be under new management with somebody who's going to be assisting me on doing finding gigs for areas in the U.S. and possibly in the Europe side of town. But yes, as an acoustic version, yes, I have that going on too.
Cool. Because actually, when you're saying about you getting some gigs in Europe on that, you were saying about the there's a synthwave festival in July, isn't there, in London? You mentioned it.
Yeah, it's called the Retro Future Fest. There's actually several artists that I know who actually are going to be opening up for that event, and I'm looking forward to it. It's actually right in your hometown.
Yeah, so we'll hook up for that, and might be a good idea if Sheyi's singing on your track. We spoke about this the other day, didn't we? That possibly we could make a video for it.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. And I think this can go somewhere at a direction we probably wouldn't even expect it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost confident to say it just like that.
What's the temperature in Miami right now?
Right now, it's I think I want to say in the early 80s to guess.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
That's like 24,
I'm looking at my
25.
phone. It's 84 degrees at the moment.
Yeah, 24.
That would be Celsius
25,
29.
29.
29.
That's pretty hot.
29, yes.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, we thought it was nice here today, man. It was like 11 or something.
It's cold. The sun is shining, but it's cold.
Yeah.
It's really cold.
Oh yeah, but it could be brutal sometimes during the summer.
Yeah,
depending on the month.
Sounds terrible. Let's talk about recording process. All of you guys. So let's start with Sheyi. What's your favorite and least favorite parts of the whole process, from writing a song to finishing it to hearing it? Let's say.
That's a really good question. Best part and worst part. I think the best part, start with the good part, is when you can hear something works. So for me, it's often about groove. So I find it much easier to sing to something that has groove. And if you can hear kind of all the instrumentation is working really well with my voice and stuff, and you can just I don't know how to describe it, but you can just hear it.
Like
That's
compliments it.
Complements it. That's a massive, boost. It's a great thing. That's the best part of it, when it all comes together. The worst part, I think songwriting and producing songs and all that whole process, it's quite vulnerable because you have to kind of put yourself out there, especially with writing lyrics and things like that. And, sometimes you might come with an idea and then actually put it down and you're like, this is shit.
Yeah,
this is terrible.
That makes sense.
Or it just doesn't work. And you're like, you have to get over being able to say, actually, just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing I've learned. It's actually okay that it just doesn't work, and you have to be quite flexible and not be too precious about what you've done. Like, you can really, really like it, but I think especially when you're working in like a partnership, you have to be able to tell the other person that actually I don't really like it, or I do like it. And if that person tells you that they don't really like it, not to take it personally, just kind of move on and be a bit more flexible and go, okay, fine, they're not that into it. Let's see what else can be done. Yeah, but it's not particularly pleasant for someone to necessarily tell you.
Sometimes you have to have a mini, not fight, but you have mini fights.
Yeah.
Mini fights.
Yeah.
But I've always see it as like we're filters. And if it gets through the filter, if I like it and Sheyi likes it, that means it's good enough.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's for the benefit of the music. So that's like you say, you can't take it too personally, and that's true. But
you have to learn that and just not be like.
Yeah,
I think I've definitely over the years become less and less and less precious about it. Especially about I've kind of now see it as a well, I'll just make it better then.
Yeah,
it's fine. It can always get better. Sometimes you have to rewrite things 4 or 5 times until it actually comes out okay.
Yeah.
So Johnny, you're writing on your own most of the time, are you?
Yeah, usually most of the time.
It must be very nice to have all the decisions to yourself.
Yeah, it's just like, sometimes I argue with myself. It's like, oh, I don't like it. And then I say, yeah, I do like it.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, you need someone to bounce off sometimes.
It's a mini conversation of myself saying, all right, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess if we're going to talk about recording process and when it comes to songwriting and writing lyrics, I mean, usually the longest process for me has always been really just writing lyrics. I mean, I'm not much of a guy to be making stories about every single song. Sometimes I get straight to the point and I just try to keep it simple, not overcomplicate myself.
That's your style, though, Johnny, isn't it? I mean, synthwave style. That's quite stylistically like it. You know, it's just to be that to the point, and I mean, in any other genre, it can sound cheesy, but in synthwave music, it's the cliche you're going for, and it's like
you can get away with it,
and it's cool. It's cool. It sounds cool in that, and I find it completely acceptable in that setting for me.
But there are so many people like I have this new obsession with this girl called Peggy Goo, who's like this house producer, and she's like South Korean and she lives in Berlin and she's super, super cool and she's just absolutely smashing it. She's just doing very, very well. But like one of her biggest songs are literally the 2 lyrics, because clearly she's not like a lyricist. She's just really good at producing some excellent beats. But the 2 lines are like the cheesiest lines where if you put them in any other song, you'd be like, this is terrible.
No.
But it works brilliantly. It works perfectly. And I was like singing along to it the other day and I was like, these are terrible lyrics, but it works so well and she's so cool and she just pulls it off. And you're like, well, so it can, sometimes you can put something down that is really quite bad, but it's not exactly like poetry.
It's like fashion though, isn't it? Some people can carry off fashion better than other people. And I think music's probably a bit like that. If you've got the balls and you've got the, you can put it out there and you can say this is good and everyone looks in your eyes and they believe you. It is good.
It works both ways. You can have some people are super talented lyricists and produce basically poetry to music, and it also works brilliantly. But it just depends on the content. There's like room for everything.
Yeah.
You can go down the very simple route and it can work perfectly, and you can go down the very poetic route and it can also work really well.
They say that intelligent conversation, the best way of getting your point across is in the fewest words possible. That there's that kind of way of doing it, but there's also, like you say, in a very poetic manner, having double meanings, and it's 2 completely different ways of writing, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess isn't it also a lot of it can also be left to the listener also, because I think there's a lot of music and there's a lot of songs that aren't so obvious and that people don't want to say what they're about. They want people to interpret them themselves. Yeah. Also, so I guess there's a lot of factors involved in what can make a great song.
But I think especially with electronic music or dance music, because the beat is so important and the rhythm is so important, you can get away with a lot more lyrics-wise, because what you're really aiming for is, will people enjoy this in a club? Essentially, will they be able to like move their body, move their head, and really you can be singing whatever the hell you want. But
if the syllables are right, the words can become like a drum beat sometimes, can't they? They hit at the right syllable.
Yeah.
So there's all that kind of thing as well. But,
interesting. All right, so Johnny's got a guest over on his side also, who has just appeared.
Yeah, actually, this is my friend Jason. He's actually the main man who took the time to help record "Runaway."
Cool.
All right, cool.
Hey, Jason. Yeah, enjoyed that mix, Jason. It sounded great.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we were just saying earlier, it's quite important to be able to have someone to bounce ideas off of. I mean, Sheyi and myself write music together, and we're just saying, Johnny, don't you ever get to bounce any ideas off anyone? And I guess you're the guy he does bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll come by. He's like, hey, I have some tracks. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about the synth? What do you think about the drums? Even the track itself, what order to put it in when he releases first EP.
Yeah.
And just going from there, having an extra set of ears is, I think, priceless.
Yeah, definitely. So Jason, what's your favorite part of the mixing process?
The mixing process. I would say I like to focus on the drums and the bass, the low end.
Build a good foundation.
Exactly, good foundation. I feel like any track that has a good drum and good bass line, everything just kind of falls into place.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The vocals too, but the vocals are the most challenging. But if you have somebody good who's been in the studio before, definitely helps. I've had a few people come in that don't have the experience. It gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, sure.
What they expect in a studio, but Johnny was great, and we had a little fun with that. I don't know if you heard right before the bridge, that long note that he's holding. That was like instant suggestion at the moment. I was like, just hold that note. Yeah. Just hold it.
I remember that.
That sounds amazing. And we left it in there, and that's one of my favorite parts, going into the bridge and then into that guitar solo at the end.
Sheyi hasn't heard that tune yet, have you, Sheyi?
I don't think I have.
No, so I'm gonna have to
I
play
have
that to you.
not yet had that pleasure.
No.
Would love to hear your feedback.
But yeah, man, that sounds wicked. We love it. I mean, I'm doing a remix of it as well, so I'm listening to it a lot at the moment. So yeah, that's all good
Awesome.
though. Yeah, sometimes you get a track.
What style?
Sorry.
What style are you going with it?
I'm trying to put the Clap and Thunder stamp upon it. I'm trying to give it that vibe. Johnny's doing one for us, and I'm hoping the same from him. I'm hoping that he's going to put the DreamShore stamp on it. Yeah, and I think it's going to be an interesting collaboration. Yeah.
Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away, and we can run away, run away, run away, run away.
Good stuff. I love the way you guys collaborate, and like this whole kind of culture around it. He kind of introduced me to it, and I love how it's building up and how big it is, but how underground it is as well.
Yeah.
So talking of collaborations, then, so we started something called Neon and Above, right? I think we should talk a little bit about that.
Well, as far as the collective is concerned, I mean, really the main idea of the collective is to support music that isn't in the pop culture realms, where we promote a vast variety of music genres, from synthwave to lo-fi hip-hop. Over time, as we progress, we plan to take the next step further into bringing other creatives of all types to have a voice in this foundation, providing not just music, but a way to connect with other people from around the world. And the biggest idea that I'm also working on is making the collective as like the MTV version for IGTV. So the idea would be that we can monthly interview and catch up with other artists, people who create this type of music, big or small, and to basically build up a relationship with plenty of other creators around the world.
Yeah, man, that sounds good. I think it's time to wrap this one up, but it's been a really fun episode talking about music, my favourite subject. I'd just like to say thank you for Sheyi coming over to the studio.
Pleasure. I'm happy to come again another time.
Next time you're here, I'm sure we'll be writing music as well, so that's really a good thing. And Phil, would you like to say anything?
Well, yeah, good to see Johnny again and to meet Jason. So, yeah, always nice to have a Miami connection on here also.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks for making it over tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Run away. till we can